Library Out Loud is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content. Ask a question, recommend a guest, and hear this program again online anytime at SpokaneTalksOnline.com. Library Out Loud is brought to you by the Spokane County Library District and STCU. Go visit and explore your local library today.
Hello and welcome to Library Out Loud. I'm Jane Baker, the Communication and Development Director for the Spokane County Library District. Joining me today is esteemed colleague Amber Williams. Amber, you are, let's see if I can get this right, Managing Librarian of Strategic Initiatives. Yay!
Yes.
All right.
Well done.
Thank you. That's quite a title, and you have quite a job, and you're doing a great job with that. And one of the things you're doing is what we're going to be talking about today, and that's our Creator in Residence program. And this is on, well, kind of on the heels of the Artist in Residence. Let's start at the beginning and talk about how all this came about.
In 2017, North Spokane Library got a lovely remodel, and we have this fabulous new space called the Lab. And the Lab, the thought behind it is let's rotate through experiences for the community. Let's not fill it with static equipment, but instead change things out and provide new opportunities on a regular basis. And last year, in one of our first iterations, we hosted Artists in Residence. And this whole program is sponsored by the Friends of the North Spokane Library. They gave each month's artist a stipend, and in exchange, artists were in the space for a minimum of 16 hours creating their work and providing a minimum of 2 programs for the public to attend to either learn art skills or learn about what the artist does or an expertise that they had to share.
And when the artist was in the lab actually creating, people could come in and talk to them and ask about their process.
And they did.
Which is great, the whole point. I had each of the artists that you had as an artist in the residence have been on this program last Fall. Several months. Fabulous programs, and not only did they bring great things to the library and great things for the community, but they were also appreciative of the opportunity to be able to talk to people so easily and accessibly. So a perfect program going both ways. And so then this year, growing the program to Creator in Residence. What does that mean?
It broadens who can apply.
Okay.
While it still completely includes fine arts artists, which is what we hosted last year, it also includes, creator is a very fluid word, and it describes somebody who paints, and it describes somebody who decorates cakes, and it describes somebody who spins wool and makes rugs. It's somebody who creates. And so we are looking to expand beyond fine arts to other visually stimulating experiences. Because you're going to be in this room with lots of walls of glass, and you're going to be visible, and we want it to draw people in to say, well, what are you doing and how do you do it? And maybe spark an interest in someone in either coming to a program or pursuing more information about doing it themselves.
So, well, you kind of gave your vision there, that something visually appealing that's going to draw people in. Besides fine arts, and you had mentioned cake decorating.
Yes.
And what other kind of things? I mean, somebody might be listening out there who is a creator but doesn't see themselves as a creator. So if you're embroidering or sewing costumes, woodworking, some other examples.
You're carving, and even maybe what you do, you consider more of a hobby. Maybe you think of yourself as a hobby and craft and not an artist, but you very well might appeal. Your hobby might appeal to a whole bunch of people.
Sure.
Maybe you make bread. I mean, really, this is very broad. We're hoping to get lots of applicants, because one of the great things that comes out of getting applicants is even if you're not chosen for a residency, you've introduced yourself to the library, you've let us know what your expertise is, and you've given us ideas of what a program would look like if you were in the library hosting it.
Wow. So even if you aren't chosen, you may end up doing a program at the library?
That happened with the Artist in Residence program, and we've had programs not necessarily just at North Spokane, but at other libraries.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. So. That's very exciting. Very exciting. So if a listener is saying, hey, I'm a creator, how do I apply for this? What do we do?
There is an application on our website. It's live, of course, March 15th, and the application closes April 20th.
Okay.
And there are some rather broad questions about, well, what do you create? And what would your programs look like? What age group would you want your programs to be for? And there are actually 5 months this year. This would be the other expansion. We did 4 months in the fall. This in 2017. We'll be doing September, October, November, December of 2018, and January of 2019 this time around.
January. Wow.
And which month would work best for you? Those kinds of, do you have links with photos that you would like to share? I realize that not every creator has a medium that lends itself to photography.
Sure.
But if you do, share it with us. We'd love to see it.
So on March 15th, the process, the application opens, and will be on our website at scld.org, along with more details about everything. So you fill out the application, and perhaps you do have some links to provide so someone can view your work. What's the process, the rest of the application process then? What happens?
Well, I do want to point out, if for some reason you do not have internet access, or one the library does.
Sure.
You're welcome to use a library computer to fill this out. Or if it is better for you to have a printed version, you may print off the application. Staff can help you print off the application. We will take a paper copy of it as well. Okay.
We'll do whatever means necessary to get that application.
Equal access to this. After it closes on April 20th, the applications will be reviewed. All of the applications will be reviewed by SCLD staff who are part of a committee to choose these. These include myself, people like the North Spokane Community Librarian and library manager there, and other people who will put together the actual programs come this fall.
Okay.
And we will narrow the list down and then invite some in for interviews so we can really discuss their application in more detail and what their residency would look like, because that's what we really would like to hear is, if I was just walking into the library, what is this going to look like to me to see you in here? What does your residency look like? What
is that vision for the space for that month? And it is, you said 5 months, and there's a stipend, so the chosen artists would receive a small stipend, again,
the Friends of the North Spokane Library are offering each month's resident $400.
Oh, very nice.
And the other thing to keep in mind if you're considering this is, when you think about your programs, the cost associated with programs is covered by both the Friends of the North Spokane Library and the library. We don't have any intention of having creators have to cover that cost. That is not what the stipend is for. The stipend is for your time and your expertise. But there's a minimum requirement of 16 hours over the course of the month. We would prefer that it be spread out, so that there's more opportunities for the public to see you.
Sure. And so those supplies for the programs, they don't have to pay for, is what you're saying. So that's not what the stipend's for. Okay.
No.
Got it.
For example, this past fall, Karen Mobley, our October artist, she did this fabulous print. You carved into styrofoam, and then you made print templates. What are those?
Kind of like a block print.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you made stationery, you made cards with them. And I mean, the supplies were minimal, but they're paintbrushes, and it's nice paper, and you want nice black paper, and you want nice paints. And the library and the Friends purchased those items and for her program.
Yeah, that's great. So again, I'm thinking what a great opportunity for somebody who maybe never saw themselves as a creator before. So even if you don't have a portfolio of work or anything, don't hesitate to go ahead and fill out this application and apply, because even if you don't get chosen, there may be another avenue where your work can be showcased and shared with people.
Because what you've done at the minimum is let the library know that you have an interest in sharing your expertise and your passion. And
we're talking visual work here.
Yes.
So musicians are not something you're going for here, or
we're not there yet.
I sense a future
never
program.
Never say never, right?
Okay. So musicians not yet. Dancers, performers not yet. Not that kind of a creator. You're looking for something
a little more tangible.
Tangible. There you go. That's the word. Perfect.
But coming in September, actually, the North Spokane Dulcimers group have a program in the lab, and they make dulcimers, and it's just they're there for a couple of hours, and they're going to show examples of a dulcimer in different stages. And a dulcimer is a West Virginia originated string instrument. That's sort of like it's like a guitar.
Okay.
But not a guitar.
Okay.
They're a simpler wood string instrument.
And they'll be making those in the library. And
they'll have them in different stages of being made. But something like a luthier who makes guitars. I mean, these are. Well, one, the space is big enough for you, and two, we have a secure closet to, lock up your gear when you aren't in the space.
Sure. So, very exciting. So I could see this going lots of different ways. Let's talk more about this, but first we have to take a quick break here on Library Out Loud, and we'll be back to talk more with Amber Williams.
Is your child having trouble coping with a personal disability, but don't know where to go? Consider our friends at Breakthrough Incorporated. Breakthrough takes great pride in mentoring their DDA clients who have intellectual disabilities and their BRS clients who have challenging behaviors toward the creation of safe, appropriate, ethically sound life goals. They integrate programs at school and home to enrich their lives. They work hard to make a positive difference in you and your family's lives. Breakthrough provides a highly structured, fully staffed residential setting in local neighborhoods. 6 in Spokane and 2 in the Tri-Cities. Diagnoses affect people differently, so their service to each resident is unique, giving them the opportunity to grow and evolve. For more information on Breakthrough, visit their website at breakthroughincorporated.org.
Hi, this is Kurt Stockwell with Well Dressed Walrus. We are a local website design and development company here in Spokane. What we do is build beautiful, usable websites for local businesses. A website needs to be beautiful, it needs to be usable for your users, your customers, and yourself. Contact us anytime. We'd love to talk with you about your online marketing.
What? You haven't been to the library lately? Stop in today and see that the library is more than books. Spokane County Library District facilities feature on-site technology, including Wi-Fi, computers, and printers, as well as free use of meeting rooms. The Library District offers events and programs for all ages, from story times to career development and employer classes to Social Security workshops. Our staff is well trained and happy to help. Find out more about your library at scld.org.
Hello and welcome back to Library Out Loud. We're talking to Amber Williams today about the Creator in Residence program. And this is kind of like the Artist in Residence that we did last fall, we being Spokane County Library District. And then this year we're working on the Creator in Residence. And the applications will be open on our website at scld.org on March 15th, and they're open through April 20th.
Yes.
Great program. So if you're a creator, I keep getting the tour on there. If you're a creator, this is your opportunity, whether you're experienced and been doing it for a while, or you're thinking, I do that. Maybe I should give it a shot. This is a perfect opportunity to do that.
Yes.
So again, scld.org, and the application will be on the website starting March 15th. So please go in, apply. If you have questions, come to the library. We're happy to talk to you, happy to help you, do whatever we need to do to get you into that space. Let's talk about the space a little bit. That's the lab at North Spokane. You mentioned earlier about we remodeled the library last year. Beautiful remodel. If you haven't been up there, go up and check it out, because it did turn out very nice. But part of that remodel was creating the lab. And you were the lucky person who was someone put in charge of saying, all right, here's your space. What are we going to do with this space? And you have brought some great programs in. What's coming up at the lab? Like I said earlier,
the lab, we rotate through experiences. We are just wrapping up photography. We've had cameras and camera equipment, photography cameras available, and have hosted professional photographers teaching classes. Our next 6 weeks will look like video cameras, so other kinds of cameras. We'll have video equipment in there, and sort of a taste of what the studio does. And if you really like it, then I encourage you to go to the studio for that static equipment there. After that, in May, we are looking at our gardens, hosting a plant starter exchange sponsored by the Friends of the North Spokane Library, and some other opportunities for kids. We're very excited, though, about summer, and I know that this program information isn't out yet, so you can hear it first.
That's good.
We'll be hosting So Uniquely You's on sewing instructors. They are a North Spokane quilting company, and we will, for 8 weeks in the summer, during drop-in hours, have sewing machines.
Very cool.
These have been purchased by the Friends of the North Spokane Library, and then for 8 weeks on Thursdays, the instructors from So Uniquely You will be hosting sewing classes.
Gotcha.
Each of them have a particular item, and you will, from start to finish, make and take the item. So 6 weeks for beginners and 2 weeks at a more intermediate level.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So the sewing machines, if you've ever wanted to learn or know about them and haven't purchased a sewing machine, because sometimes they can get expensive, you can come up and use one.
Yes.
Right there in the library. Yeah. And then have the class as well. And now you say they're a quilting company, but they won't be focusing only on quilts, right?
No, actually each week is completely different.
Ah. Okay.
No two items are the same. Week 1 is a pincushion, and the week 8 is, they call it a mug rug, but it's basically an itsy bitsy mini rug to go underneath your coffee cup.
Keep that coffee warm.
Yes, a mug rug.
Okay.
It's a quilt coaster. And a zippered pouch for a wallet.
Oh,
it even includes a fabric that is safe for your credit card to be in and can't be scanned.
Oh, yes.
Yes, security fabric. I'm making that name up, but that seems to describe it.
Yes, that's a descriptive. I know what you're talking about, and I can't think of the word at the time either, but more important all the time to have those type of things. So you could be able to sew that right there at the library.
Yeah.
So awesome. Great programs coming up. And that's this summer. Anything else coming up this summer at the lab?
What isn't? Really, let's be honest, like library across the board is all about the kids in the summer.
Sure.
And the lab will host an escape room for 4th grade and up for families. We will be hosting a mug challenge. What meal can you make in a mug? Like a cooking challenge that way. And we're welcoming back Michaela Miracle, who was our September artist, who will be doing plaster programs with kids, and she'll be back in the lab doing that. And there's another one. Oh, Radical Rick will be back.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Yes. So all that's happening at the lab.
It is.
This summer.
It will also be happening at other libraries, but we're happy to host them in the lab at North Spokane.
Sure. That's great. And then the studio is Spokane Valley. So when you mentioned that earlier, if somebody is listening, to know where that is. Wow. So now we kind of went off track a little bit.
Yes.
Which happens because there is so much happening at the library, and you're involved in a lot of the programs. But back to our topic at hand, which was the creator in residence. What would you most like to see? Not that we want to prompt anybody or discourage anybody from applying, but in your ideal world, what would be your most awesome thing to see in that space?
I, of course, go with the things that I want to know how to do.
Okay, sure.
And I semi-recently got into glass art.
Really?
And I would love to see a glass artist for completely selfish reasons. I mean, it's an amazing medium, and I'm just learning, and I feel like there's so much to learn.
Mm-hmm. So when you talk glass art, are you talking glass blowing, stained glass?
I wish we could do. I don't know that we could do glass blowing. Like, we might have limitations on ventilation. Okay. But yes, stained glass is what I've been learning how to do. And
really?
There's so many different ways to do it, between like lead and copper and this whole other language, and there's so much chemistry behind it that, yeah, I'm like just learning.
Very much a STEM type of program with
actually
science in it. I have no idea how to make stained glass.
I didn't either.
Oh.
It's so much harder than you would think.
Really? I imagine it is.
And actually, though, I should point this out, because in the current Engage, Airway Heights Libraries Friends Group have sponsored 2 stained glass classes at Studio Artrium out in Airway Heights, which is the library's neighbor. And they are beginner classes to make small, not ornaments, but small hanging stained glass items.
A small project to start with. Generally, real quick, what is involved in making a stained glass?
Well, you would need to, you've got to cut glass, you've got to grind glass, and then if you are putting it together using lead, you have to trim your lead to fit the glass, and then you have to solder the lead together. But depending on what kind of lead you're using, it then defines what kind of solder you're using, or you are wrapping it in copper, and then you are soldering over the copper so that then you can make them stick together, for some of those odd shapes. But the problem is I shouldn't say problem. Glass is gorgeous.
Yes.
And it's hard to narrow down what you're going to use. This is what I actually imagine quilters have problems with, because there's so many amazing fabrics to pick from. And I'm not a quilter. And as I'm setting up this sewing program for the summer, I have to keep reminding the person who's doing the teaching, like, I'm not a quilter. You're speaking a language I don't actually understand.
Sure.
I was like, but I'm into stained glass, and I think it's kind of the same. You're cutting pieces to fit them together. And my first piece was such a learning curve.
That's great. Well, I asked you that question not just to find out about the interest, but also just as an example of what is possible at the lab and the kind of vision that you have for that space. And so it's not necessarily just paintings and photography, which we'd love to see too, but stained glass and the sewing and the other creations that people are busy doing. So the sky's the limit. Bread.
I also want to be a better bread maker.
Anything that has to do with food, I'm all for.
Instapot, perhaps?
Yes.
You create Instapot recipes.
How awesome is that? So it's wide open.
It is.
Creator in residence, and again, the application period is March 15th through April 20th, and you go to scld.org and you can apply, and it is sponsored by the North Spokane Friends of the Library. Many thanks for all that you do and all that you support with the library and helping bring these programs to the community. Apply.
Please.
Bring your talents. Bring your creations. We want to see. We want to hear. And even if you're not chosen for this, it may grow into something pretty darn cool. Yeah. Well, very exciting. Amber, thank you. Thank you for coming in and talking about these programs today, and thank you for creating them and getting them going up at North Spokane, and for all the great work you do. So
thank you.
Again, we'll have you back on again soon. And this has been Library Out Loud. We'll see you next time.
Library Out Loud is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content. Ask a question, recommend a guest, and hear this program again online anytime at SpokaneTalksOnline.com. Library Out Loud is brought to you by the Spokane County Library District and STCU. Go visit and explore your local library today.